Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City Media podcast. Stepping up to the microphones are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Pull up your chair, grab your favorite brew, and enjoy the conversation. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up? Welcome to Tigers Untapped. This week's show is actually canceled. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. We will be back when Memphis wins a basketball game again.
Yeah.
So
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
See you next time. Sean from Boy Meets World. What's up? You guys see TJ's flow tonight?
First of all, it's a pretty sick bowl cut.
Topanga's about to walk in.
I wish. Ugh.
Like, if you were a man, probably somewhere between, let's say, Kenny, how old are you? 52? Between 50? No, I'm kidding.
You're between the ages of, we're 25, Kenny's 52.
If you're like somewhere in your 30s to low 40s, you know Topanga, and she was clearly on your list in your youth, right?
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So,
All right, Kelly Kapowski or Topanga Lawrence?
Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah, I'm
10
probably
out of
more.
10 times.
Topanga she had a very unique
Yeah.
look. Still beautiful.
She
But I'd have to go Kelly.
I'm going to be honest with you. I needed something good. I've actually had this beer. I needed something to make this episode better. And I'm going to start with Hopperbolic.
You've had this before?
Yeah, from King and Queens. I had it at the actual brewery itself, though.
You had this while watching King of Queens? Is that what you said?
Queen and King. What's it called? I'm looking at it.
Soul and Spirit?
Soul and Spirits. Thank you. Soul and
I
Spirits.
know you're such a big
Hopperbolic.
Kevin James guy.
What? Did you just say King? How did you?
King of
Where
The
did
side of the
King?
can says Queens and Kings, and I read it, and I said King of Queens, I think is what it was.
TJ's got a little bit of Kevin James in him.
No, man. You don't love that immediately just in your mouth, dude?
It's very hoppy for me.
Big pause.
It's good. I'm about to come pour Kenny some.
I mean, it is good. It is. There's just a lot of hop.
It is hazy IPA.
That heart on the front.
Dude, we can't get in the can yet. Hold up.
Is this a play on hyperbolic?
Hold up. Yeah, I'm assuming. Is there a song called Hyperbolic? We'll talk about that later.
I don't know.
You know
Doesn't
that's
it
the
always
thing.
tell you?
We
Oh,
do it
you
at the
gotta
end. We do
scan
it at
the
the
thing.
end. We played it.
Keep cool and consume fresh.
We didn't play a basketball. I was going to say we played a basketball game. We probably could have played the basketball game. It would have been the same outcome. Tigers drop to UAB 88-97.
I don't even. That's all I'll say. I don't even.
That's a good one.
I can't even.
Kenny, can you? Can you even?
No.
I mean, they're not bad. They're not a bad team. Like, let's just get that out in the open. They're not bad.
Who?
UAB, they're not that bad.
Oh,
They're not that bad.
are they 97 points?
They're
Good?
not that good.
They're meh.
That's a little bit Memphis helping them out.
They're
think,
fine.
But
Look, I'll say this. It's been 15 days. You know what that is? Since we last won a basketball game. And my child's birth. Since the day that he was born, we won on his birthday. We have lost he thinks we are the shittiest team in all of college.
can we blame?
He
William
came
for
out,
this?
we were hitting school records for threes. He was like, this is great. And we've just lost 3 straight.
Part of me thinks we can blame William for this.
How dare you?
Yeah, I don't know how that's possible.
I don't know.
How dare you?
I don't know. I'm just making things work.
This sucks.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. Look, any one of these 3, well, I don't know, the South Florida one was really bad because you were up 20. But, like, if you'd beaten South Florida and Tulane and then you lost yesterday, it's kind of just a whatever, I think.
Sure.
Same thing. If you beat South Florida and you won yesterday and you lost to Tulane, that one's also kind of like you can write that off, right? Walton got hurt. You couldn't play Tomlin in the last 6 minutes because he scratched his cornea somehow. It's just the combination of all 3 of these. I mean, it's just disgusting. And I don't know where to go from here. There are people out there that still have a lot of hope and faith in this getting turned around, and I wish that I had that because I'm at a point it's not fun. I care more. I feel like I care more than the guys that are actually playing and losing these games. It's a bad spot to be. I've now ruined 2 Sunday evenings in a row with the family. Just puts me in a foul mood. My family doesn't deserve that.
They don't. They're good people. And I think, what stinks about it the most is that defense has been Penny's thing for so long, and it seems that we've just put defense to the wayside completely. Does it not feel that way? It's just not.
The most frustrating part of this is you just had an entire week off, which I meant to mention that last week. This is now like the third time this season that we've had a week in between games, and I cannot stand that in college basketball.
Yeah, it makes it real awkward for podcasting. I know that.
I mean, I know you can get one around exam week or whatever, but like, why are we going a week in between games? It's just brutal. Anyway, you had an entire week. The conversation, the rhetoric going into this last week was, it's going to be I've been laying off. The guys have been going too easy, been letting things slide because we were on a winning streak, blah, blah, blah. I think it was even DJ. Didn't DJ come out and say that the intensity had been cranked up and it was all focused on defense this week? And then you give up 97 freaking points to UAB. I knew we were in trouble in the pregame when Jordan Vanderholst came on and was like, yeah, they don't shoot the ball too well. And I was like, well, they're about to hit double-digit threes on us. I'm pretty sure they ended up with 10.
9. Ooh.
They had a dude, 9.
Yeah.
That freaking kid shooting 10% in conference from 3 and just lighting us up. Hitting him before the buzzer at half. I mean, like.
Yeah, that one was sick. I'm not going to lie.
Sick?
Yeah.
The kid, he shoots it with side spin. That should never go in the basket, ever. I mean, you look like TJ throwing a football out there.
I don't even know what that means.
You got the whole, like.
The what?
Whoa. You throw it from up here.
Don't you dare disparage me in the way I throw a football.
I didn't say that it was wrong.
Wow.
I don't even know what he's talking about. I
just said he shot the basketball like it looked like he threw a basketball.
You're lucky he was trying to football. Hurl thing at your head.
Like, see, did you guys see that?
That's how you throw a football.
A little over the top.
That's how you throw a football.
Okay. I mean, it's just
Who
a
is
little
this
bit
guy?
more of like a slider than.
What are you talking about? Next.
Regardless.
Next.
That is great.
I mean,
How do you throw a football?
I mean, well, I'm in a chair, but I mean, just.
Oh, don't you dare do that.
What?
Don't you dare put your hand over your shoulder. Clown.
Why? Okay. I'm sorry, TJ.
Who knew TJ threw like a girl?
First of all, I don't. I throw it like this, and I think that's his problem. As opposed to Trey holding it here, I hold it up there. I think that's what he's saying.
But the friends of the pod that are watching will know what I'm talking about.
A ball in my hand. Like, I mean, I don't know what you want.
That was more natural looking.
Can we're going to film this. This is going to be a cut-in. Can you splice this in, bud? We need to splice.
Anyway, it's disgusting to go have an entire week to prepare for a basketball team and then just do that. Lay a total egg.
What's disgusting is having 25 turnovers or whatever the number was. That's
that was also.
David Jones may not
9.
be capable.
You have 9 by himself.
I think so.
That is insane.
The number is actually 15 total, and David Jones had 7.
What? There's no way we only had 15.
No, they had over 20. They had 21.
Sorry, those are steals. Sorry, those are steals.
They had
David
21.
had 9. Yes, you're correct.
Wow, he had
9
7
of
steals.
22, but he had 7 steals.
So he almost made up for it.
That's wild.
Yeah. 9 single. Between him and Quinterly, we had 13 turnovers.
Yeah. The Quinterly with 4, I'm not, as much as the ball's in his hand, like that's whatever to me.
But he's had such long stretches where he's like 6 assists to 1 turnover.
Sure.
I mean, he did that for like 4 or 5 games in a row.
Yeah, but I think if you
By the
look
way,
back
he was
on that,
announced as a top 10 finalist for the Bob Cousy Award. So I'm sure he's excited about that.
I think if you look back on the times where he was just serving it up and not turning it over, it's when we were in that 10-game winning streak, right? The team was playing well.
It was the
together.
first half of it, yeah.
Yeah, we were playing well together.
Yeah.
And then everything started to decline from
It was
there.
that streak. It was those 4 games before Tomlin showed up is when Quinterly was playing the best. That I'm.
Scott working.
Why do you always have to?
I'm just that's. I mean, that's literally what happened. I don't know.
I'm messing with you.
I'm not the one pushing that. It's Gary and all them. I mean, I have been jokingly.
I don't. even get how he could hurt you. I mean, like, yeah, he's not the best defender in the world, but he's more serviceable than your other options.
I think, and shout out to D. Grams because he's the one that's pointed this out, but I think the more glaring piece or issue that is Caleb. I mean, it pretty much coincides with Caleb going out. I mean, you played 2 games with Tom and Caleb, which were bad, but I write those off as like, again, Vandy was the day before Christmas break, and you had dudes getting on a flight like hours after the game. So, yeah, whatever, they're tuned out a little bit.
Sure.
The other one is it was Alabama State. You've been on Christmas break for a week. You come back, it's the first game after Christmas break. Like, you lay a little bit of a clunker. And you got up. I mean, you had pushed it to like 17, and then Penny threw out some weird rotations with 3 minutes left and let them kind of get back into it. But you could have written those 2 off. And then it's like you get to Tulsa, Caleb goes down. And then since then, it's just been really bad.
Yeah. I will say I was impressed that Penny has cut down the rotation some. I was not expecting. I know he's played more, but if you look at the balancing of it, it's not like 3 guys in 30 minutes, 2 guys at 25 plus. I'm probably getting into a math problem here.
You had 4 guys.
You know what I'm saying, right? You don't have 8, 9, 10 guys playing 15 plus minutes.
Yeah. You had 4 guys play 30 plus minutes yesterday. Malco at 30, DJ at 33.
Walton at 30, wow.
Yeah. Walton and Quinterly at 32 apiece. Next closest was Tomlin at 23, and then you had 15 or fewer for everybody else that played.
Do you think there's a correlation in teams out-rebounding us and also with the number of threes they're taking? Obviously, those long bounces.
I mean, obviously, yes, 3-point attempts are going to result in longer rebounds. But it's also like some of it's effort. I mean, there were multiple occasions where we were in perfect position yesterday to get a rebound and just got bumped out of the way. Or like moved out of the way.
There's been a couple of times where it seems like someone will watch the ball and they just kind of stand there like, all right, Trey's got it. And then they'll kind of just turn, and then Trey does not. Yeah. Trey did not have it.
I mean, there's a clear lack of communication across the board with this team right now.
Why do you think that is? I know you don't really know the answer, but
I don't know. I can't. I mean,
like I know there was a big thing with team chemistry, and like there was some.
I mean, if what Penny says is true, he said it tonight, I think, on his weekly radio show, that Caleb was this year's Alex in a sense of the vocal leader that all he wants to do is win. He's going to sacrifice things for the betterment of the team to win games. Sure. He's the guy that was talking in huddles and timeouts, talking on the floor. Like, if that's the case, then I mean that's clearly what's happened. Like, that dude's gone. It only, like, at least for me, like when there's somebody else on the field, court, whatever it may be, that's talking, it just entices me to want to talk as well. Like, and then if you lose that person, like, I don't know, just kind of everybody else, unless you're just a natural vocal person, which a lot of people aren't really, to be honest. Like, it's just gonna.
Can I ask you all a question about that?
Maybe.
Who really cares about about his comments about Caleb Mills? Like, are we supposed to feel sorry for him? What's the point of continuously bringing up the fact that Caleb Mills was that guy? Like, I don't understand. Like, are we supposed to like go, oh, well, shit. Like, okay, cancel the season. Caleb Mills got hurt. Like, what are we supposed to say? Like, you got a bunch of 25-year-old grown men on that team. Like, you're telling me you can't get those dudes to step up? Like, I'm kind of over hearing about Caleb Mills nonstop. Like, okay, we get it.
Caleb, if you're listening, we know that you are. That's no shot to you.
No, not even a little bit.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm, and again, Penny said this himself today. There's no time for excuses anymore. So, like, somebody
stop making excuses.
Step the F up.
Stop making excuses.
And supposedly that guy is going to be Malco.
I mean, for what it's worth, losing Caleb, that's a big hit. Right? I mean, those are valid minutes. That's your prime defender, 1 through 4. Anyone you need him to, you could lock him up. I think that is a big loss. So that could explain why the defense has just been cheeks lately, to an extent, right? It's not like the sole reason by any means. But at the same time, like Kenny, like you said, like we're talking about a team of grown men. Like if Penny's idea is that I want to coach the Tigers for as long as possible, perhaps I want to do an NBA career at some point for coaching. Like, how do you expect to get the NBA players to buy in? You know, perhaps it's a little different because they truly are grown men and that's their job and their livelihood and things like that. It's a little bit different in the NBA, but
How the hell did we hold SMU to 59 points?
it's a different time.
I just don't even understand.
It's a different time. I mean, I really don't know where to go from here. Like when it's once or twice when the defense has just been atrocious, you know, you just kind of say, yeah, it's bad luck. But now we're starting to hit like a consistent theme.
I mean, what does it take to wake up? Like we thought, okay, you let South Florida come back on your home floor after you're up 20 and beat you. That's a wake up call. You've been playing with fire, quote unquote, for a month to that point. Surely they'll figure it out. You go to Tulane, get beat. Okay, they'll wake up now. That's back-to-back losses. You got a week off to prepare. Intensity's getting cranked up. You guys know what it's going to take. And then you come out, and yeah, I feel like yesterday's loss was the worst of
by far
the three effort.
By far.
Like
the team gave up.
I mean,
in the
there
second
were
half.
I don't know. It felt like
that
they gave up in that
inbounds
USF
play
game
after
too,
we
so.
scored a basket to put I think we put us like down 9 or whatever, cut it to single digits. And literally we just stood there while they inbounded the ball and ran down unguarded and got a dunk. I mean, like what the hell was that?
No,
Everyone just standing around doing nothing.
There were a couple times where they just left that one guy wide open in the corner hitting threes back to back. Like you could tell they were just kind of like, whatever.
There were so many plays yesterday that I think it was first half. Ashton was a primary ball defender, faced up on a guy on the wing. He's standing, 3 feet inside the 3-point line. For no reason whatsoever, just stops guarding him, turns into double team the dude in the post, and just gave a wide open lane straight to the back. Like, and then turned around and was like, "What did I do? What do you mean I messed up?" Like, bro, he was as close to you and I right now, facing the primary ball handler, and just left him, turned his back for no reason whatsoever.
I don't say this to, disparage any of the players, but I do question some of their situational in-game basketball IQ at times. Like there are times where you see that. I mean, there's been 2 or 3 different plays. I think through the last couple of games, like 2 or 3 specifically. Where it's
I will say this: as dumb as this freaking mic'd up thing was, look, shout out to Andy Kennedy because it was cool for 2 possessions. To get like that kind of, I'm serious. Like you don't normally get that kind of in-game behind the scene. Like, and he was, I felt like doing a good job. I mean, I was kind of shocked that he was sitting there telling us exactly what they're about to do. Like, we make this, we're going to the 1-2-2. Like that was kind of throwing me off. Like I just didn't expect that out of him.
Sure.
But that gave us a little insight when Penny was mic'd up and he's like screaming, same play, and then they get a freaking 3 out of it, like right back-to-back possessions. And it's just like, what? I don't know. The dudes on the floor aren't recognizing that. They're not hearing him call that out, that it's the same play. Like, so to your statement about basketball IQ, I just don't, I don't know. Where are they? What are they doing when they're out there? What are they thinking? What?
Well, I mean, how many times have we seen the inbound to the corner? Like, how do we keep getting to that situation? It hasn't happened that much recently. They've gotten better at it.
You're talking about us inbounding into the corner?
Yes, us inbounding into the corner and the ball just dies.
That's been a Penny thing since
I know,
he's been here.
But at the same time, as the inbound, like if you're the inbounder, like why pin the ball to the corner and you're basically surrounding them with defenders? Like you can't do anything at that point without throwing some wild.
I think they're
pass.
teaching them to do it.
There's no
get
way.
it over there and go up the sideline is I guess what they're teaching.
There's
I mean, he's been doing it. We've been doing it for 6 years.
I know, but there's just no way. I'm assuming the first 2 plays are not open, and that guy's just there as a security blanket. But that should not ever be a security blanket.
I don't know.
Give me the 5 wide.
Well, yeah, where's that gone? That was working.
I know. I like that one actually.
Little Tim Crams. I guess he's on vacation now. It's a dead period. What was the most concerning thing Penny said after yesterday's game for you? He didn't join the press conference for like an hour after the game ended. I think no players talked. Finally, Buns or somebody crawled through the air vent and heard some quotes from the locker room air vent.
I don't think anything stood out to me in particularly. I know that.
I mean, Penny saying he walked in, it was just a bunch of blank stares. Like, give me a Keontae or somebody punching a brick wall and breaking your wrist. Show me that you care. Why do I care more than you who is playing the game? Do you have not a competitive bone in your body?
I legitimately.
Why are they not pissed off that they're losing to inferior teams and being embarrassed?
I think it's gotten to the point where they play shitty, and then they're like, "Well, don't worry. The second half, like we're just more talented to our talent. We'll just out talent them." And it hasn't happened, right?
That's what I just don't like.
They clearly
I
coasted
don't
in the
understand
USF game.
how
That's
that
what
can even
happened
be
there.
a thought. Like, you're letting teams build a little bit of confidence in the first half, and it's not like confidence for an inferior team is the worst thing that you can give them.
Sure.
That's what I mean. That's why those
Next to
dudes
wide
start
open
making
threes.
shots, and then the crowd gets into it. Like, I don't
I got
know.
real
I
sick of
just
seeing Ortiz, man. I got real old.
freaking Tony.
Yeah, the double name, like unbelievable. You know, let the double name get you.
I don't know.
Oof.
I just. And then Penny, he's going to say, like, he just hasn't been able to get through to this team. He hasn't found out what it is he needs to say to break through to him. Like, why? Honestly, why does he have to say anything anyway?
Well, man.
I think you just got a bunch of dudes out there that all they're caring about is stats and getting to the league.
Well, I think the issue with that is like, is that really where we think they're going? Like, do we think that's truly the thing? Like, they just care about their own stats?
I think so. Some of the shots and stuff that they take. I mean, look.
He definitely has made a comment on player over team.
He said it today again. Said that during the 10-game win streak, there were people on the team that were mad because their stats weren't where they thought they should be. They didn't give two shits that they were winning 10 games in top 10 in the country.
Yeah. I think, not that it matters. I think you could figure out who that is.
Again, like, that goes back to I don't know. I think we talked about it last week or the week before, but like, if that's your thing, then go play a freaking individual sport. Go play tennis, golf, where you are the only person.
Well, how much of this is transfer portal driven? Like, how much?
What do you mean? The situation we're in?
Yeah, I mean, like, so we've kind of talked about the lack of a culture. We kind of talked about it last week, really. I think my audio and video were cutting in and out the entire time. I think you guys mentioned this. Like,
Yeah, I felt bad about that show.
yeah, so
It was like
that was my internet. It's not good.
Yeah.
Yes. There were times I was just sitting there nodding, like, Kenny's talking a lot because I'm like, I don't know what you guys are saying. I'm just waiting on someone else to smile for me to be like, I had no clue what you guys are saying for a solid 10 minutes at one point. But
A little behind the scenes, Kenny and I thought that TJ actually quit the podcast last week before we even got started
He was on the StreamYard
and said, F it, you guys do it. And then he was
and then
gone.
he just gone. And we were like,
I was switching laptops.
what do we do now? Like, do we wait for him? I texted TJ. I'm like, are you coming back?
I was switching laptops. It was frustrating, though. But no, I think you guys talked about it. Just the lack of culture that this team seems to have. Like, there's not a true identity to them. And I'm just curious, how hard is that to have a culture when you only have Malcolm and Jaden back from last year? So you're not really retaining much. So it seems like
I think you
have
can
a culture.
still have a culture that you're instilling from day one that they're here. I mean, he said it himself, like, he'd been going easier and letting things slide that he normally wouldn't. Like, why are you doing that? Are you doing that because these guys are older and you think that they can get away with it and still win game? Like, why?
Yeah.
I think it goes even
I think
deeper
that's
than that.
unacceptable to me. Like, if you're gonna have a program, like hold everybody to the same standard, no matter who the hell it is walking through the
100%.
door.
I think
Right?
it's another
Like-
part of it too. I think it goes deeper than that. I think if you have a culture in place, it dictates who you recruit.
Oh, 100%. Well, that's the other thing that's frustrated the hell out of me about this season is like, and we've talked about it before,
Sure.
but he talks about his identity and his teams are defensive minded. Defense travels. They want to be the best defensively they can be. And then so go out and get players that will fit that.
You compose a roster of the exact opposite.
I mean, I'm not saying that, but like
I'll
at
say
least
that.
get guys that will fit into that. Don't go get a bunch of dudes that are the alpha scoring first-minded cheeks defenders. And then now we're in this situation. Offense is not our issue. I mean, you score 88 points in a college basketball game, you should win.
You should win
10 out of 10 games.
Of course.
In regulation, 88 points.
No, I would agree with you. I mean, I think if you solely focus on who are your best defenders that they brought in from the portal, I mean, for a moment there, JQ was pretty locked in. I'm kind of falling back on that. I mean, I think that Jourdain has been fine defensively. I mean, that's really about it. Like, Jaquan doesn't do anything defensively for me. Jaden may honestly be your best wing defender. I mean, I don't know how to
but
find the analytics to that,
answer
but-
your original question, I think the portal definitely plays a part of this, right? Like, it's from a team chemistry, it's going to be when you have 13 new guys coming together and most of them are showing up late, like it's not really a surprise that you're going to have issues. And then on top of it, when it's 13 guys that are coming from teams where they were high level contributors to teams or the go through guy, even if they were on a bad team, like it's going to be tough to get those guys to mesh.
Do you think this season specifically alters how Penny will
I think
roster
I think
construction
based
from
on
here
the
out?
comments that he's made, yes.
It seems like it. I mean, it should.
I mean, if he learned that the 5 freshman thing wasn't going to work,
Yeah.
he changed from that. Now he's understanding you probably can't just go get 8
Mercenaries.
alpha transfer portal guys
Yeah.
with 1 year left. And that, I mean, can it work? Yes. Is it easy to do? Not necessarily. I mean, shit, look at Arkansas. They're in a
they look
worse
just
situation
as bad as us, yeah.
and basically did the same thing. So I think the portal definitely plays a role, and he's got to establish and hold everybody to the same standard, no matter who it is. If it's a 5th-year senior or if it's a freshman that's walking in the door, like you got to treat everybody the same way in the program and hold all of them to the same standard. And I don't think that happens.
Yeah. I am curious how he goes about it. I think he knows that,
I don't think it happens year to year, and I don't think it happens player to player within the same teams.
yeah, I mean,
I think there are players on the current team that probably get away with more than other guys.
like a son.
And it shouldn't. No. I mean, maybe. I
Maybe,
wouldn't
I don't
necessarily.
know. I was just making a dad joke.
But somebody like Malcolm or somebody that he knows that's been around, he's probably going to let slide a little more than somebody who's here for 8 months. Like, I don't know, JQ or a younger, I don't know.
Yeah, I do think this season specifically will dictate how he goes about. It's just like another step in the ladder.
I mean,
of his-
we said it going into this offseason. We were excited about Chandler coming back and having some of that continuity and guys that have been here to help establish and enforce that culture. Like they know they've been playing for Penny, they understand, and that helps when you have guys on the team. Like
Without a
I mean,
doubt.
they've said it like we mentioned earlier. Like Malco, from this point forward, they're saying is he understands what it means to the city being from here. He understands what Penny's wanting. Like he's going to be that enforcer within the team. But I think it. What? Kenny thinks that's a joke.
No,
he did laugh.
I think you need those guys
awesome.
in uniform as much as on the bench as a staff member. So next year, when Malcolm is a grad assistant on staff,
Yeah, right.
and Jaden.
I do think Alex would have helped as a GA on this team.
I'll say this. This seems like every year that Penny has been a college basketball coach, he has just climbed this new rung of his coaching career, right?
I mean, that's the other.
That freshman roster, the one with Alo, Tyler, all that, the big gap between that rung and the next rung, big lesson learned there. I think this is going to be another big rung, big gap between the rungs.
I mean, as long as he's learning, which so far, for certain things, he's shown that he adjusts and learns. But I mean, that's the other thing. Like, it literally is only his 6th year ever of coaching college basketball, right? Like,
but that I don't know how much, and I'm probably gonna get flamed for this, but like basketball is still basketball in the grand scheme of things. Like, he's been a basketball coach for many years.
Yeah,
there are small things that he does that it's like, for a guy who's been coaching for 12 plus years, or whatever the number is, like, you shouldn't be doing that. So I mean, like,
what's one of those things?
Well, the inbound corner play. If you're saying that's Penny, that definitely counts as one.
I mean, it has to be him. It's
right.
Happened for 6 years with different people on the team. So
playing 12 guys in one
new
game,
staffs every year. I don't think that's changing.
Well, no, but
That's
like
just who he is,
and I get that. But at a certain point, it's like,
he's a charitable guy. He gives back. The NCAA even ruled that way.
look, I think he's going to learn a lot from this year's construction of the roster.
The other
it'll
thing,
change how he does things going forward.
The 12 guy thing, and just in general, like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Penny is a people pleaser. Like, he wants to try to make everyone on this team happy.
Yeah, but I think some of that is
in certain scenario. Well, maybe I take that back. He added Jordan Brown, and I know that probably pissed off the entire team, so maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But in that, he was trying to make Jordan happy.
Okay. And I will counter with, having Jordan makes your team better than not having Jordan.
Does it?
If Malcolm breaks his leg tomorrow, yeah, I think it's nice.
Oh, well, okay.
My point is, you now have an option that you didn't have before.
Well, we played our best basketball and looked the best we have all year when Jordan Brown wasn't a part of this program.
He's playing like 5 minutes a game. It's not like it matters at this point.
It's not about on the court.
It's not about playing 5 minutes or not,
Okay.
which I will say 5 minutes, and he had 3 boards yesterday.
He's the
So
best
maybe
rebounder.
getting out rebounded, we might have needed a little more than 5 minutes out of JB yesterday.
I agree, Kenny.
It's
not
just the
about
whole situation. Again, establishing a culture and holding people to the same. Like, I'm not on the team, but I can tell you that would have probably pissed me off.
for sure. 100%.
And it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I think in his mind, he is doing what he thinks is best and gives the team the best opportunity to win as many games as possible.
Sure.
But is that worth the cost of what's now? And I'm not saying adding JB is why we're on this losing streak, but I think the chemistry issues that are being discussed and talked about are certainly not, it's not helping, that's for sure.
I don't look at the games and say that
I've
JB
heard that
is the issue.
they've since brought him back. The team's been calling him Doo-Doo Brown, not Jordan Brown.
Trey.
They actually convinced him to change his Instagram name to Doo-Doo Brown.
I don't watch these last 3 games and say, you know what? It's because Jordan Brown's on the team. Because
it's Tomlin got added. That's what.
No, they just leave guys wide open.
No, you watch the last 8 games since Tomlin was added, and you're like, okay, it makes sense.
No.
It all lines up.
No.
Memphis went from allowing fewer than 1 point per possession to now they're like 1.5 points per possession defensively.
If anything, adding Tomlin to this roster.
He got lost against South Florida and gave up the freaking game-winning.
He did do that, but I think we've already talked about it. He shouldn't have been in the game in that moment. It should have been Malcolm.
That was your leader refusing to play in critical moments. But maybe that was Malcolm taking a stand, trying to tell the team, we got to do this together. And by doing this together means I'm sitting out.
I don't know where to go from here.
I don't either. I have no hope. Let's take a break and gather ourselves, and we'll be back right after this.
The Memphis Grizzlies are working on something. They're planning on some type of.
They're leaving, Anthony.
Yeah, they're leaving. Yeah, we gotta fix the Liberty Bowl so the Grizzlies will stay.
You're right. They're leaving. They're leaving Memphis. They're going to Vancouver. They're going back to Vancouver.
Going to Nashville. Yeah.
Oh, no.
But yeah, man.
I ain't joking about that.
Yeah, exactly. I got so tired of hearing that bullshit.
That hurt my heart a little bit when you just said that.
Yeah, man, I would. If the Grizzlies moved anywhere else, man, I would still be a Grizzlies fan. I believe they go to Nashville, man. Hell, that shit. Damn, I would be a Minnesota fan of y'all. Like.
Be a Sacramento fan.
Yeah, me and my girl Rail, we'd be repping the Pelicans.
I was about to say New Orleans, that's closest team out there.
Yeah. I'm not fooling no damn Nashville ass team.
Become a Zion fan
Right,
all
I'll
over
be
again.
a fat ass Zion fan. I ain't worried about this shit because the Grizzlies are planning on doing some downtown development, and I doubt they plan on doing something like that for a city they're trying to get the hell up out of.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Is there a way for this to be turned around? Sure. How does that happen? And this is typically what we do is how does that happen? And we talk about it. I really can't give you anything. I really can't give you.
That we haven't said 400 times in the past 2 weeks.
Right. And we haven't seen any of that acted upon or anything really change from this team, from this coaching staff from that point. So I'm extremely concerned.
These problems, how can you solve them?
Yeah.
Like, is there any real
Tangible
way to make that happen?
Yeah.
Because if not, I'm just going to have to project them to lose more games along the way if they can't figure this whole thing out. And I think the two things, if the two things I need to fix, like each other, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
And then 2, find a vocal leader in the locker room. Those 2 things I think would solve, I don't know, 90% of the issues that ail this team.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back.
I don't want to do the second half. Can we just go home?
Hey, I mean, that's what the team did last night. Maybe we should.
It's a nice segue. That was unplanned completely, by the way.
Let's just quit. I mean, how much of our break conversation do we want to bring into the second half of this podcast?
I mean,
Because we had a conversation during the break that we could bring over, but how much do we want to?
Bring it in. What do you want to?
whatever.
What do you want to ask?
I mean, it's nothing that I don't think already hasn't been said in some form of.
Look, at the end of the day, this is all Penny's fault.
More or less. I mean, yeah. Right? I mean, he composes the roster. He helps build the culture.
And is he going to hold himself accountable, and is he going to figure out a way to fix it?
It's a good question.
You got, 6 weeks left in the season for Selection Sunday? 5 or 6 weeks? I can't pull up my calendar. I don't know how to work.
It sounds right.
Freaking
yeah.
MacBook.
Because we've sat here and we've talked for about 30 minutes in that first segment, and we've discussed a lot about the players, right? Like about what they're doing on the court and things like that. And yet, when you hear Penny talk in any media availability in the last 15 days, it's been about culture, team chemistry. It's been about buy-in, the team liking each other, the very basic things of being a team.
This is not a good college basketball team.
And
right now.
And that's my issue. Like, we can sit here and we can blame the players on those things, but Penny is the leader of, like, it. He says it falls on him, right? This has been a common theme throughout his entire career at Memphis.
Sure.
Is chemistry issues, whether it's been with 5 freshmen, whether it's been with a healthy mix of freshmen and veteran, or whether it's been a team full of veterans. And like I said in the break, the only team that we didn't ever hear anything about this on was last year's team, when it was 2 dudes and a bunch of a
Role
bunch of
players.
dudes.
Yeah.
2 dudes, 2 main guys, and a bunch of role guys
Yeah.
That bought in and played their roles great.
that knew their role because they know. They know, man, I'm not Kendrick Davis. I'm not DeAndre Williams. The only way I'm going to eat is if I
Do what I'm
supposed
to
do what I'm being asked to do. And Kendrick Davis is a professional point guard who we can clearly tell is that guy. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, yes, we can sit here and talk about the players. We can sit here and blame them. But this isn't a scheme thing to me. This is a culture, chemistry, the very things that Penny is talking about, and that is on him.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. We said it going into the year. This is absolutely by far and large the most talented team that he's had. But I guess the 21 team would give this team a run for its money, but I would say this is the worst team that he has had.
And just for clarification, the most talented roster, but the worst team.
Yeah.
Like as a cohesive unit. They do
Right.
not play well together.
It is a basketball team.
Yeah, they do not play well together.
I
know
know
this-
for the last 3 games,
Yeah.
for the last 6 games, they haven't played
Correct.
well
That's
together.
I was just
They
saying.
haven't played
I know
well
this
together
seems
since
like an
December
echo chamber, but
22nd. That's almost 6 weeks ago.
It definitely seems like it's been on the downhill. Even some of those games in the 10 game streak, I mean, they were getting kind of
Yeah, and like we said in the first half, like he has come out and said that dudes were pissed off even among winning 10 games straight. Like they were mad
because they didn't put up
because
doubles.
They don't care about I mean, this should be the ultimate goal, is just winning the basketball game no matter what it takes.
I know, and I know that a lot of this reflects back on Penny, and he's still learning to be a college basketball coach. I get that. That's what the point you guys are making. But I think there needs to be some double responsibility. I think some of it does have to come back on Penny, but also some on the players. Arguably, I think I would take more of a 60-40 on Penny than the players, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like, sack up. You're grown men. You need to get along to get this thing going. It only benefits you for this team to work well together and win games, right? Because if your goal is the NBA, and I'll just say David Jones. I'm not saying he's the problem, nothing like that. I'm just using him as an example. If you're David Jones and you get into these pre-NBA meetings and it's like, hey, man, your team was trash. You guys could not play well together. What's going on? Yeah, but I put up 20 points on average through 9 or 10 games. It's like, yeah, but the team wasn't good. Like, yeah, but I put up 20 points. Yeah, I was fine. I think if you put me around better players, then I could only be better. And like that kind of conversation is not going to get you anywhere. Now, obviously, that's not something he would say, but that is a question I think that could easily come up.
There's a lot of eyes in that discussion there, Tej.
I'm just using it as an example, man. Just an example.
I don't know that it's far off from the truth.
Well, you know.
Makes me think of
Who's to say?
2K when you get to my player career and you get to pick your responses. There was always the selfish route. Make it all about yourself.
No, they just don't play well together. Well, I think that's the
Right
easiest
now.
way to say it. No, not even just right now. I mean, for the majority of the season, I feel like that's
They have had stretches where they have played well together.
okay. How many games have they played completely? 20 something.
We're 20 even, 15-5.
Yeah. Okay. 15-5. Do you think 10 games they played well together? Do you think they played well together in Austin P? Going toe to toe with Austin P up until 5 minutes.
I would say probably at least half they've played well together.
Okay. I just don't know that I would say they played well together for a majority or half. I think it leans not played well together more so than not.
Oh, I would agree with that.
Because even in situations where you're playing, like yes, Jackson State, they ended up smashing them, but and I know it's the first game, so it's kind of hard to grade that one. But they didn't play that well together in that game. I mean, Villanova, I don't think we need to talk about. There's just kind of a one-off
But see, that's
That's an anomaly to me.
But also, the part of that is think about the second half of that game. I know you're going to sit here and say if Villanova allowed them to come back, but that was a team that did not quit.
Agreed.
And that was in a game that
Agreed.
would be very easy to write off as, okay, you're playing your third game, you had a rough hat, like whatever. You came out the second half and went through the motions, the game was over. And they absolutely did not quit. They look like that team in that game of the second half against Villanova is not the same team that played the second half yesterday.
No.
And yesterday was a much more winnable game and probably much more important.
So you still think the second half team from yesterday's game was
I don't
worse
ever
than
want
the
to see
USF game?
I don't ever want to see that team again.
Dude, the second half of USF was the same thing to me. Like, they just did not care. They thought that they were going to win no matter what because they had a 20-point lead and they were more talented. Like, I'm starting to go back to Penny's comment on our season is our out of conference because they have not given a damn about a single game.
100%. That is all on him, and that comes from the very tip top. When your coach is telling you that, there's no doubt in my mind that's why they've approached some of these games the way they've approached them.
I think even if they had what are they going out of conference? Let me do the math. Do you know at the top of your head what they went out of conference?
Us, 11-2.
11-2. Let's say they bombed the Clemson, the Virginia, the A&M, but they won conference. They hypothetically went out, win the American, whatever. They're in a better place by winning the American and losing those out of conference games than they would be than they are today, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
100%. Like, as of right now, you're 8th in conference or something? 7th? I don't know what it is.
We are currently 6th.
And of course, they can climb, right? You got SMU, you got FAU twice. They can climb.
We are 6th behind Charlotte, South Florida, UAB, and North Texas. The powerhouses that those. You know what? Memphis coach beat all 4 of those teams though this year, and didn't finish behind them.
And this all sounds doom and gloom, right? Just because it's 3 straight losses. Yes, you're 15-5. It's just the fact that the optics of South Florida, and I will let the Tulane game loss happen.
I was talking about Brooks, by the way, the soccer coach.
You're talking about Ryan Silverfield, you clown.
Oh, did he not lose to those teams?
This
Weird.
guy.
The other football.
To South Florida and UAB, those are 2 games where your team quit on you. Unequivocally. Right? And you have Rice coming up next on the 31st. That's 2 days.
TJ, let me ask you this.
Do I
Any
like rice?
Fried rice. I had fried rice tonight. It was delicious.
I had some rice in my Chipotle.
Shout out
bowl.
to Red Koi if they'd like to sponsor and they're listening. We know that you are. We'll have a fried rice segment.
I'm all down for that.
It was alluded to the fact that the starting lineup may change. And Penny said today, the 5 that he puts out there, you can expect will fight. If you had to name the starting 5 right now that you would anticipate that would go out there and give you everything they had, who would it be?
Carl Charenfant, Jalen Young.
Kenny and I are on board together, so keep going. I'm with you so far, 2 for 2.
Jourdain.
Nick
3
Jourdain.
for 3. Nicholas is, I think, Nikolai.
Ashton Hardaway. No, Jaden Hardaway.
You got the
excuse
wrong
me.
Hardaway there, my man.
Jaden Hardaway.
Even see, that's iffy for me. First 3, I'm all on board.
No, I think Ashton will start on.
I'm not
Wednesday.
asking who you think will start. I'm saying in your mind, you have to name 5 that are going to give you everything they got. Who are your 5?
Well, isn't that what he's saying? Those are the guys
I'm not
that are
asking
gonna,
from Penny's perspective. I want Kenny's Stubblebuild's perspective.
Oh,
Who are your 5 you would throw out there? You're the head coach because they're doing a charitable fill-in head coach for one night.
It's
The Memphis State game. 52-year-old Kenny Stubblefield is head coach. He gets to pick the starting 5. Who are they going out there and fighting their asses off?
52-year-old Kenny Stubblefield doesn't play those kind of silly games.
Oh my gosh!
Because honestly,
I'm just asking.
you really
who you think on this
you
team
really think
plays
you
hard.
really think that a lineup of Nick Jourdain, Carl Cherenfant, Jaden Hardaway, Jalen Young, and whoever else they want to throw in is actually a better team. Like, that to me is just a silly game. And if that happens on Wednesday night, further proof for me that this is going downhill very quickly. Like, so I wouldn't even entertain those games.
I don't think that kind of thing works at this level anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
If we were playing in middle school or something, that's an approach that I would maybe take.
It's called grasping for straws.
But I was just doing it as who you think on this team would actually go out there and play as hard as they possibly can. Not necessarily who you think is actually going to start on Wednesday. But for me, it would be Carl. It would be Malcolm.
There, I think.
It would be Nikolai. It would be Jalen. And then to be honest with you, I struggle with a fifth. I may only play 4. They're going to give me everything they got.
This guy's ridiculous.
I might throw in a little Slick out.
He will give it to you. I don't think he's got much to give, but he'll give it.
What do you know about Slick's ball?
Stop it. He didn't pull up that 3 when he should have in the
that's true.
Jackson State, I think it was. Rice coming to FedEx Forum, 131.
Absolutely, you cannot lose either one of these games. Rice at home Wednesday, they are doo-doo, 228 in Ken Palm. You cannot lose to Wichita State. You already beat them by 107 at their place. Neither one of these games can you lose. You have to go 2-0 this week.
Well, you definitely need to go 2-0 without question.
I mean, we literally can't lose a game until you could probably drop the North Texas game.
I'll say this. I think there's enough time and a decent enough couple of teams in front of you for Penny to get this back on track.
It's fine. Yes, if you
won
out, you're fine. If you even just dropped, say, North Texas and SMU away, and then you split with Florida Atlantic, you're fine.
What do you think that would put them in conference? 4th?
Losing 3 more games, 6 games. So what are we talking about? 12-6?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably 4th or 5th.
It's not great.
Because I think Charlotte's remaining schedule is easier than
I don't think
doo-doo.
Charlotte's very good at basketball, though.
They don't play. The only top 100 Ken Palm team they have remaining on their schedule is us.
Yeah.
They play East Carolina, South Florida, Temple, UTSA, Wichita State, Tulsa, and Rice.
12-6 was good for 3rd last year. That was Tulane in the membrane. And then 2 years ago to the 21-22 season, 13-5, Memphis was 3rd.
So, you'd probably be – I mean, you're sitting in 6th right now with a bunch of teams in front of you that only have 1 loss. I don't know. I'd have to look at what their remaining schedules are, but – North Texas looks damn good. I mean, FAU's going to lose a couple because they've just, I mean, they're right there kind of the way that we've been. Charlotte, I hadn't watched a whole lot of, but they seem to be some kind of Cinderella witchcraft going on with them. They just can't lose. South Florida at 6-1 is honestly, that's shout out to the Bulls. I don't know how they've done that. I don't know who they have remaining either. They have North Texas, Charlotte. They're going to lose a couple. FAU, Tulane, they'll lose. They're going to lose some games. SMU. They probably won't finish top 5, 6.
Do you think Penny turns this around?
Gosh. I hate to be a downer, but I feel like no.
I guess let's define.
Yeah, we got to
define
turn it around.
Yeah, let me just be clear. How do you define turn around? You know,
I mean, turnaround to me would be losing 2 more games max.
Yeah.
So 9-2 for the rest of the 11.
Yeah, I would say if you dropped either at North Texas, one of at North Texas or at SMU, and then dropped Florida Atlantic, that would be turning around. I would take it. But I honestly don't know that it happened. I could honestly see us losing. I could see Tulane beating us at home. I could see us winning the next 3 and then losing 3 in a row again. Because you play Tulane at home, away at North Texas, away at SMU. That could be another 3-game skid.
I do, and I said it, right before the UAB game. I just didn't think they would lose 3 in a row because just the talent disparity there. I just thought Memphis was too talented.
But they don't care.
And
you're
I know.
You're not taking that into. They do
I
not
was
care,
not
Timothy.
Considering that, and I'm curious.
I was not considering that they do not care.
Yeah, I thought that even
It's
though
astonishing. I don't know how you can be a high Division I basketball player and not care to lose games. I just don't. Where
are they beating Rice?
Yeah.
They're beating Rice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we say that, but I don't know what. I guess USF was ranked decently high when we decided to drop that one.
I mean, Rice is the equivalent to Austin P.
Yeah, they're beating Rice.
Well, you said that very confidently, but like they didn't exactly cruise on Austin P. But no, I think they do beat Rice. The Wichita State, I'm not convinced they're going to smoke.
Oh, I don't think we'll smoke
At home.
them at home.
I don't even know what the spread is. If it's anywhere from 4 to 5, I'm not taking Memphis to cover that.
Well, Ken Palm has it at 11, so I would assume that it'll probably be 9.5, 10-ish.
I'll just choose not to touch that one. Yeah, I mean, I think he can turn this around, right? I think you're going to have to wake some guys up.
I mean, he did it with the Imani team. He's capable of doing it. I think it's just his quotes about the situation this time around are much more concerning to me. He seems like he doesn't know what to do. And I feel like, I mean, I've said it before. He throws the players under the bus. And I guess maybe it's worked before, but I just don't know that that's a tactic that's always going to work. And I mean, he did it yesterday. I think that like the first question he was asked in the post game is what's happening, and his response was, "I don't know. Ask the team." And that's just alarming to come from the head coach.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I mean, I want to believe that he can do it. He did it again in the situation with the young guns and the old heads, and somehow got that team to buy in together, go on a streak, look good in the NCAA tournament. But right now, the way that this team has looked, I mean, also with that Imani team, like, I think it was easier to talk yourselves into the losses not being as bad because at least at that point in time, like you were playing with limited roster, right? Like you had dudes, whether or not they were really injured, you had guys sitting. Like I remember losing to Tulane that year. We only had like 8 active players. And that's just not the case. You're
Sure.
Obviously, not to piss Kenny off, outside of Mills, you're healthy and have your available 5, top 7, 8 that you need. And this team just does not look like they give 2 shits about winning basketball games. So until I see that, I'm going to say that we don't turn it around.
Kenny, what about you?
I was checking an email, so I don't know exactly what the question was. I'm sorry.
Do you think that we turn it around?
Yes, I do. I do think that there comes a point where there becomes a certain level of just like guttural instinct pride that kicks in that makes you go, you know what, man? Like, honestly, screw this. Like, I'm done with this. And
do they have that?
well, and that's what
Penny
I want to
says
see.
yes, based on today's comments, which is, I don't know what the hell happened in the last 12 hours, but last night it was blank stares and he just didn't know what to do to get the team to understand. And then today, all of a sudden, after losing to UAB, let me find the quote. It was, I can't find it. Parth tweeted it. Where did he go?
Shout out to Parth.
Okay. A lot of these guys have been on 3 or 4 teams. Is that true? 4 teams, a lot of college basketball teams. They've got the guys on those teams. That's what you get when you get a bunch of portal guys. Said the players finally realized after losing to UAB that they must play as a team. I want to know when exactly did that happen, because it wasn't yesterday. I mean, he said as much yesterday that he didn't know what it was going to take.
I mean, I legitimately hope he's right. And I do think that there is as I said, just a level of just grown man pride that steps in that just says, man, I'm not going out like this. And if they do that, this team is absolutely talented enough to go as far and as deep as they want to go.
Sure.
But will they do that? That's the question, and I think that's the question that I think is a valid question for anybody that's a fan or a media member covering this team should ask. Will they do it? Because they ain't got much time left here to figure this thing out. So
you are running out of time. Although I think this was about the time last year. Let me look at it.
When Alex hurt his ankle?
No. Well, I guess they'd won several in a row, and then we lost to Tulane a year ago at home. We had that rough loss to UCF and then went on a good little 5-game win streak and then lost to Tulane. And then they kind of played well from there on out. At this point last year, we were 17-5, exactly a year ago. So we were 7-2 in conference, though.
I have a question for both of y'all, because inevitably this podcast is going to come out and there's going to be reactions to it, right? Reactions from Memphis Tiger fans to this podcast.
Sure.
How do you respond? How are you guys going to respond, or will you respond to the comments of how dare you question this? How dare you? Is it right for us to be sounding the alarm a little bit?
Yes, it happened. This is a repeat of every year. It's the same thing.
When did you go no shoes, TJ?
He's just slipping off his Birks.
My goodness, those socks are pretty epic. Sorry.
Look,
just got distracted by your wigglies.
You're about to meet. Penny is not above
No way you can
criticism. And I'm just going to be real. We're in year 6, and my dude is in 6th place in this trash conference.
Yeah.
You've gone 6 years now and have not won this league, and it's been a 1 or 2 bid league. That's inexcusable. Given the fact that we spend top 20 in the entire nation on basketball, we spend 3 or 4 times as much as any other team in this league. We are by and far more talented every year than every other team in this league.
Except for maybe Houston.
They're gone. It's not an excuse anymore. And that, you swept Houston 2 years ago, you still didn't win the league. So you can't say that you didn't win because Houston, you swept them.
Yeah.
It's because you
drop these wild-ass games.
It's not because of Houston and teams that are good that you're losing the conference. It's because you're losing to East Carolina. You're losing to Tulane at home. You're losing to Tulsa by 40 points. You're losing to freaking South Florida.
To Tulane twice.
You're getting down 25-1 to South Florida. It's not because of the better teams in the league that are keeping you from winning this league. It's because you're losing to far inferior opponents.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that pretty much anytime you say anything about Penny, that some fans react in a certain way. And it's to your point, he's not immune to criticism.
Look, he's not. This all comes from a place for me. I just want to enjoy being a fan of Memphis basketball and football, for that matter. And right now, it's not fun. I know people that, and I'm really honestly, I don't even want to watch the Rice game because I know it's probably going to piss me off. It's not going to be fun. At least that's what I'm expecting. And I know that there are people that have season tickets all sorts, they're not even going to go on Wednesday.
Do you think that we are overreacting to a certain extent? Do you think we are overreacting? That's how I should probably word that.
I'm not calling for Penny to be fired.
I know, but we are acting.
I don't think
we are in agreement openly that this team has an issue after dropping 3 consecutive games, and that they need to fix it or they will not make the tournament.
I don't know how that's overreacting.
I don't think it's overreacting.
That's stating the reality of the situation.
I'm asking if we are overreacting.
I think there are people that will take it as an overreaction and tell us to relax, and they're 15-5, and we've been here before, and Penny's teams play the best basketball in February and March, and whatever. But it's like, dude, it's the same thing every year.
The American is ranked the second worst,
and we're in
basketball
6th
conference.
place.
And you're in
that.
6th place. I think that is something
That is
to be
inexcusable, and that's not because we've played FAU twice and lost, or the fact if Houston was in the league and we lost to Houston. Like,
yeah, I do think that you have the bulk of your conference schedule remaining. So while we are not playing very well as a team, and the alarm is not being sounded right now, but like you're up against it. I think if you drop another game or two in conference, there's some serious questions that need to be had.
I think the alarm is,
for me, it's not
firing
for
up.
me, it's not.
I mean, you have, in the matter of a week and a half, gone from a 5 seed to now a 9+ 10 seed.
Yeah, what
Lenardi
was
had
that
us his
stat?
last 4 buys today.
What was that stat? If they lose to Rice, they would be a 25% chance.
No, we're at a 25% chance now of making the tournament, according
it's
to
now.
Bart
I thought it
Torvik.
was with the loss to Rice.
No, well, he's predictive, so he's
Sure.
He's saying currently where we stand. I think he has a 77th in the country. We have a 25% chance of making the tournament.
I think there's enough on the remaining schedule with FAU twice, SMU, North Texas, and honestly Tulane. There's enough in
This
there
team- Yes.
that you can save yourself.
Yeah, if you win out, you can still be a 6 or 7 seed.
The loss at Tulane barely affected your metrics, so they seem to care. They seem to think that Tulane's decent at basketball. And then you have FAU twice. That's a top 20 team. Charlotte seems like they're good. I don't think that they're good. Every time I've watched them, they've not seemed to be good. And then SMU is good, and North Texas is good.
Charlotte's just a team of destiny somehow.
I think that you have enough that you can build yourself back up, and then at that point, people will come at us and tell us how dumb we are, and probably call us armchair coaches.
Or worse.
Shout out to my mom. Mom, we saw what you posted in the Facebook group.
Yeah, take it easy on us, Betty. That felt
Sheesh
targeted.
kebab.
That was rude. Ruthless.
I will say at this point in the season, relative to the last couple of years, you absolutely have more opportunities to boost yourself up than you have in previous years. Sure. Previous years, we've gotten to this point where we're at in the season, and it is like, hey, you have got. It comes down to beating Houston once at least.
Sure.
And like you said, now you've at least got potentially 4 more quad 1 in North Texas, SMU, and then FAU twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all there in front of them. They still have, obviously, they've slipped a lot. They're 15-5, but if we 4 or 5 weeks from now, you come in and they're 27-6, like, let's play ball.
Yeah. Where do we go from here?
I don't know, but this all just feels hyperbolic.
Hopperbolic.
Dude, that was great.
What?
That segue was awesome.
Have you ever ridden a Segway?
I have not.
I have. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but I almost got kicked out of the U of M for a Segway. I was flirting with a girl. We were at the library, and I was trying to impress her. And looking back on this now, being older, it was so dumb. Don't even know why I thought this would impress her. I jumped on one of the U of M police officer Segway and rode it around a column twice and came back, and he came out, and he took all my information, was like, you're getting kicked out of school. Like 100%. I could I don't have my U of M email anymore, but I have emails from school officials letting me know how serious of an offense it was.
There's several things in that story that just,
I have a lot of questions.
I don't know why, but TJ just saying I was flirting with a girl makes me laugh. I don't. Look, just the way that you phrased it.
I was.
I don't know
trying to
how
impress
else you
her.
would say that.
I was trying to impress her.
2, that we had cops on campus
dumb.
that rode around on effing Segways.
100%.
I'd totally forgotten about that.
100%.
And then 3, that you thought, hey, I'm going to hop on this cop Segway.
And I'm going to be cool.
And
I looked around, I didn't see him. I
it's
thought
all
it was
gonna
a
work
safe
out.
place.
freaking, hey, to go back to Kevin James, we got freaking Paul Blart, mall cop over here.
I thought it was a safe place. It was not.
This is going to work out well in my favor.
So what happened? You got an email and what happened? You know, Jay Lawhead had us.
No, Lawhead was not a part of this. This was
He had your back. That's why he didn't get kicked out.
Gosh, I wish I could remember this person's name. Nothing ended up happening. They exchanged emails with me, asked me my side of the story, and I was just straight up honest. Like, I was trying to impress a girl. I jumped on the Segway. I did not. Had no intentions of stealing it. I put it right back where I got it. Like, it wasn't like the cop chased me down.
Did you
on foot
know
or
it was a
anything.
police Segway?
Yeah, I mean, it
Had
of course.
police all
Yeah,
over it.
It's there's no
I mean,
question
could've
about it. It's got the U of M little badge on it and everything. There was no question.
Just
that it was U
hopped
of
on
M.
it and saw it. Did
Yeah,
you turn the siren on?
No, I didn't. I don't think they have sirens. I just leaned forward and started going and went around the thing twice and came back, parked it, and jumped off. And he was like, "Nuh-uh, come here, come here."
the real question here is, did it work?
No, God, no. What do you mean?
Was she rightfully impressed by your rebel
No,
spirit?
I think she thought I was an idiot.
I'm sure.
And it was like,
Who
this-
thinks it's a good idea to jump
this
on a
dude
police's
likes
Segway?
Segways.
Like, I will say, the one thing I took away from that is Segways are super fun.
They are
super
what, I don't
fun.
know what happened to them, but I haven't seen a
I think they're
Segway
still
yet.
there. I just don't know if they have Uber.
I think-
what are the
I think
scooters?
Bird took them
Bird,
out.
Thank you.
Now Bird's dying.
Yeah, they are done. Yeah, R.I.P. to Bird. Let's get into Hopperbolic, dude.
I like this can.
It is a good can. You guys can't see it, but it's a good can. Maybe you can kind of see it.
It's a heart floral decor.
I meant to look this up while we were chit-chatting.
Yeah, I don't know what the song and dance for this one is.
Yeah, so as we've mentioned before, Soul and Spirits base all their beers off of songs.
I just scanned it.
And this one's Hopperbolic. And Trey's going to read it for us now, hopefully. Starting now.
It just took me to the homepage in
Well,
general.
that is the longest name of a song. Someone is looking at this. I'm like, oh, you idiots, it's Isaac Hayes. Where do we start here? Hyperbolic.
I just accidentally clicked that I
syllable-
wasn't 21 to get into the website.
No, they're not going to let you in. I can't read this. Someone who is a music person is laughing at us right now. Hyperbolic syllabics.
I don't know what you're saying.
Quidalistic. Trey, I don't know what to tell you here. It's the word. It's the name of the song.
Oh, I see it. Inspired by.
Yeah, read that. Try
No,
it.
Not a chance.
No, just try it. S's and G's.
Hyperbolistic, syllabistic, ciliodmistic. Isaac Hayes.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. It's an Isaac Hayes song. And it's the longest name of a song. I'm going to listen to it on the way home. Anyway, the can's dope. I like this can.
Wow. Did you see the food pairings for this?
I did not.
Jerk shrimp or lobster roll.
Not my
Or
go-to.
gorgonzola dolce. I can see some jerk shrimp hitting hard with this.
Cheese milk? What was that? I don't know about any of that, but the beer's good. I like the can. I'm going to go decently high on the can because I do like the color scheme of it. I think it's decent.
Yeah. I don't know that I fully understand the heart in the palm
No.
with the flowers coming
No,
out
of
of
course
all
not.
the arteries, but
I'm assuming somewhere in this, if we were to read a little bit more, actually, no, I don't see anything about flowers or hearts.
I don't know. It is a cool can, though. I like the design. And for that, I'm going to go 7.5.
Maybe if we knew the lyrics to the song, maybe that plays.
Well, you'll have to listen to it and let us know.
Maybe we'll see. You say 7.5?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably not bad. I would go You're probably about right. I don't want to get too crazy with and go too high. I'm going to say like a 7, 8, though. I like it. I like that. It's a good color scheme. A lot going on there. I'm trying to avoid the shimmer on it. Just Google it. This is impossible. Just Google it, please. The beer I love. So obviously
It is good. It's not my favorite hazy juicy. I think what's that one we had at Luke Hazy's? Did we get that one? Wasn't that a hazy that tasted like Fruit Loops?
Voodoo
Ranger?
Yeah, it's one of the Voodoo Rangers. Fruit Force or something like that. That one is
Voodoo
really
Ranger's
good.
got a couple of juicy hazies that are good.
Yes. This one's
I think
really
the
good
very first episode of what used to be Tigers on Tap
Don't say that word.
this episode never got released, I think, and that was before we decided we were going to do the same beer and local.
We did.
I think the very first beer that I ever drank on an episode was Voodoo Ranger Juicy Hazy IPA.
I think you just made that up, but I don't remember that at all.
Well,
this is a good beer. I really like this one, but
That was
I am
back
a
when we
hazy
were
juicy
audio
IPA
only.
guy. What?
it was back when we were audio only, so you didn't see what beer I was drinking.
I was ripping burps in Kenny's ear.
No, this was. Oh, I guess he probably didn't edit that one. It never got released.
Oh, I edited it.
Not the burping episode.
There was many burping episodes.
Yeah, that can't just be defined to one.
Yeah. There was
So true.
probably a good 15.
All right.
The
Well,
burping trilogy.
get back on track, guys. I like this. For me, it's like an 8.4 out of 10.
Wow.
But I really like hazy IPAs. This is my favorite beer, and this thing has a lot of citrusy punch to the mouth when you first drink it, and I really like that with the beer. So, and it's a pint. so I kinda
TJ
get a
loves
bonus
getting
point.
punched in the mouth with your citrus.
6.7 alcohol by volume, by the way. important to
It is good. Again, it's not my favorite hazy juicy that I've had. Was a little on the hoppy side for me, but it is good, and I would drink it again. And I am very thankful that it was in a pint. Mm-hmm. And for that, I'll go 7.6 on this bad boy.
I'll take that. So if you're out there, drink a Hopperbolic hazy juicy IPA
From our friends at Souls and Spirit,
And
or
let
as
us know.
TJ said at the beginning of the episode,
King of Queens
with Kevin
King of-
James.
King of Queens. It does say Queen and Kings. It's very easy to just, catch that.
I was like, well, this is a brand new brewery that we haven't ever tested
I
out.
was like, what is? I don't.
I wonder if
know
anyone
about
actually. Do you guys actually ever drink the beer? I need to know. If they do, leave a comment. I didn't know if
Oh,
anyone
the
actually ever
listeners.
drinks
I was
it.
like, do I ever drink it? Yes.
Yeah, I know you
every
do,
week.
man. I know you do.
It's my one weekly beer.
All right, Trey. Parting words.
Let's win a basketball game or two this week. That would be fun.
Super D's.
Would really, really appreciate that. And hopefully we see you guys back next week. TJ's kicking me right now. I don't know
Not
what's
on
going
purpose. My shoe. Trying to
See
get
you
my
guys
shoe
back next week, and we're 17-5, and maybe we jump up to like 4th in the conference. That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be real cool.
So come with a cold beer, stay for the hot takes, and peace be with you.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.